and the curling is severe. This is what I'm talking about. Just wanted to give you a little update here today. Today is Thursday, so this will be part of tomorrow's video, which you already know because, yep. Anyway, I'm still having trouble with this engine. It's just running really rough. It seems to be getting worse, but it is still running. It made this whole run without shutting down, and I don't know, I'm going to push it as far as I can. I'm going to keep trying to clean stuff and look at it, look at the carburetor a little bit or something, but I did order a new one this morning. Hopefully we'll get it quickly, but I'm guessing it's going to be next week because of the holiday, so that is what it is. But yeah, other than that, we're going to keep watering. Everything's looking good. Oh, I did get another seal, or a new seal for in here. Should have tomorrow. Sometimes it leaks. Sometimes it's a little drip. Sometimes it's a lot. Sometimes it doesn't leak at all. So I don't know what the deal is, but it's a pretty quick change. You just got to take these 2 bolts off, maybe even just one, and swing the thing out and put a new seal in there. It ain't no big deal. So we'll get that done sometime here, and still watering. Good morning. Well, I'm just getting up to the traveler field, the irrigated field here this morning. Yesterday we kept it moving all day. I worked on some paperwork. I started this up last night at about 8 o'clock, 8:30 I think it was. Yeah, it was 8:30, and it was just about a full pull, and so I decided to just slow it down a little bit, put a little over an inch on, like inch and a tenth or something, which made it an 11-hour pull. And I just got up here and it is shut down, but we're still dripping water, which means that it hasn't been shut down for very long. And look, it made it to within a foot. When this hits this bar is what's supposed to shut the motor down that turns this in. So our timing was perfect. So yeah, that motor ran better yesterday, this one. I've been having trouble with it. As soon as I ordered a new one online yesterday morning, this one has stopped causing me problems. So that's a good thing. Yeah, so we're gonna keep running. We gotta turn it and pull this other direction and keep the water moving. Okay, so you can't see it, but the water is running over there. Everything seems to be good this morning. Our corn's getting taller. It's harder to see. We gotta go get fuel though and bring it up for the generator. I didn't put any in yesterday, which means we're getting close to 48 hours, so we gotta go. Fuel's in. Let's go double check, make sure the Traveler's still running. We'll see what else we can find to do today. Okay, I've got about 4 hours until that's done and needs to be moved again. So I'm gonna go pick up the rest of my boxes, or at least try. I called one of the 2 people that has boxes yet, and they said they'd be around, so I'm gonna go get the boxes from them. The other one is on the way back. We'll see if they're around. But anyway, we gotta get this job wrapped up too. Got the rest of my boxes. Yay. Well, kind of the rest of my boxes. I got one customer that's got a bunch, but the truck's gonna go pick them up right from him, so I gotta go move the Traveler, then we'll unload that. Well, we made it before it shuts down. It should be done here in just a couple of minutes, so we're, I don't know, what, 40 feet? 44 feet here yet, so we're maybe just a touch slow, but that's no big deal, close enough. We'll let her go until it shuts down and then finish reeling it in and move up to the next lane. This is the 3rd lane, so we'll be moving to the 4th one the second time over. We're moving right across here. It's starting to become painfully obvious what areas of this field have gotten water, enough water, and which ones haven't. I'm going as fast as I can, little corn plants. Okay, irrigation is running. Yeah, it's dirty. Time to go unload some boxes. Well, I'm unloading, and since I got a little help today, we're folding boxes. Thanks, Jack. Boxes everywhere. Well, that cleans it up a little bit in here. Got 59 empty boxes ready to send back. We got a couple of piles of pallets that got to go as well. Those 2 boxes are mine, so they stay. And we got to get some signs up sometime. That one, and Megan took all of my field plot signs that are supposed to go out here. She's supposed to be bringing them back, but we got a bunch of stakes and a pile over there in the corner that we can put up. So we also need to get our treater cleaned up and put away. We are done with that until we get to wheat this fall and get some empty chemical kegs sent back. Holiday weekend. We got to put the flag up. That one's going to be the screenshot, I think. Thumbnail. It's not much of a flagpole, but it works. This is also a good opportunity for me to once again say stay safe, brother, to Scott and his entire unit. They're getting deployed tomorrow. I believe they're leaving, heading to Texas for quarantine in a few weeks, months, I don't know, and then over to the Middle East for a year. So we'll miss you. Can't wait to get back, bud. Taking a quick walk through my corn plot here, just trying to see some of the differences. You definitely can see some. This number here is not rolled up nearly as bad as that number. Oh yeah, it's beer time too. Yeah, I don't know what any of it means. We'll find out this fall, but there's certainly some observational differences to notice here. Some of them look better than others. Of course, some of them are in low ground and some of them are on the ridge, which is not fair, and I get it, but it's what I got to work with. So, man, I tell you what, you walk out of that office in the air conditioning out into the shop, it is hot out today. Okay, I need a bucket. We're gonna go do some scouting. So you guys remember when we started irrigating up there, I was showing you how the corn rolls up when it gets dry, right? And that's a self-defense mechanism to help the corn deal with the stress of not having enough moisture. It's closing the stomata on the bottom of the leaf to conserve moisture and prevent respiration, which conserves moisture. And when I showed you that, I told you that it was not very severe yet, but it was noticeable. Well, we're starting to get severe, and I'm in a different field. This is a field that, it's the one that we planted into the cover crop residue from last year. We did not field cultivate it this spring, so it hasn't been worked. But it's also the one that's got some river bottom ground that completely flooded out. We replanted over half of this 65 acres that's here, but there's a sand ridge that runs across this field on an angle. And this sand ridge, it came up really well, survived the flood early, but now it's dry. It's really dry, and the curling is severe. This is what I'm talking about. They are just completely rolled up, closed, and looks like spikes out here. You know, it's a little spotty. There's a little bit right here that's not so bad, but there's a ridge that goes all the way across the field that way, and it looks pretty bad across it. This is the field that I have a split planter, 2 different hybrids in it side by side. You can see there is a difference in the hybrids. This one seems to be a little bit less stressed than this one over here. Again, good or bad, I don't know. We'll find out this fall, but there's a difference. It's tall though. This corn's shoulder high on me. I mean, that looks good from that standpoint. Just needs some rain. Yikes. So what's going to start happening now is that the bottom leaves are going to start dying off the plant. You can already see it some here, and some of these ones, which these bottom leaves aren't doing a whole lot anymore, but still a sign of good corn in August and late in the season is green leaves all the way to the bottom where it hasn't had to cannibalize itself. Not going to be the case here, and they're floppy leaves. They don't have a lot of structure to them, wilting, dying. This corn's going to stay short. It won't get real tall. It'll start tasseling here in another couple of weeks, but it's going to be not much taller than it is now. And of course, you can look out there and see where all of the replant corn that from when it flooded. It's a whole different story out there. This corn down here, obviously it's not on the sand ridge, so it's not going to dry out near as fast. It's not going to suffer from drought near as much, at least not yet. But it's got a long ways to go because of how far behind it is. This was about a month different in planting date. And I don't think she's going to grow enough to be knee-high by tomorrow. So, not going to make it here. In case you don't know, there's an old saying that says knee-high by the 4th of July for your corn. And it should have decent corn, which is pretty outdated. If my corn's only knee-high by the 4th of July, we've got problems. We've got problems here. And like I said, this corn here is shoulder or head high already. So this, yeah, completely different. It's good. It's good here. This is about 30 feet before we get into the pineapples. Here's some where them bottom leaves are already starting to die off, and this corn's not near as tall. Our beans, however, do not show the visible signs of being dry near as bad as the corn does. These are still growing. They still look really good. Now, we are probably shortening them up a little bit. And if you look right, you can see the underside of some leaves. That's kind of beans' defense mechanism. Instead of rolling up like the corn does, it just kind of flips these leaves over, and that's its self-defense mechanism. You'll see them get droopy and just kind of wilty because they don't have enough moisture. But at this stage in the game, it's not the end of the world. It's not good for them, but it's not completely destroying our yield potential yet. At this point in the year with the corn, we're building the factory, right? We're putting leaves on. We're starting to develop those ears. We're setting the potential in this, basically the maximum of what that crop is going to yield. And every negative thing takes away from it just a little bit. With beans, we are starting to flower. We are in a reproductive stage, but it's still all about leaf surface tissue and the ability to capture sunlight. We've got to get these rows closed in so that we can capture as much sunlight as possible in late July and August, because that is when soybeans are made, is when they're setting pods and filling those pods out. That's when it's critical to get the rain and have plenty of moisture available for these beans. So what we're going to be doing now is basically keeping the distance between these nodes here. Let's see, let me get this so you can see. So take this plant and see everywhere there's a leaf attached, those are nodes. And we're starting to get a fair amount of nodes on here. Here's a plant by itself. It's a little easier to see. So let's see. I would say we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Working on node number 10. Although these leaves are still touching. So I would call this like a V7 plant. 7th trifoliate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. V6 to V7. And we've got a few flowers starting. You can see a little purple there. We've got more buds coming. Honestly, we're probably going to abort some flowers off. It's just too dry for those early flowers. But like I said, the vast majority of the flowers and the seed production on beans occurs late July and August. And if we can keep these beans alive and keep them putting new leaf tissue out and spreading out, bushing out, filling out the rows, and we get some rain in August, we still have really good yield potential here. These beans look pretty good when you look across the field. So I'm not real concerned about them yet, but we do need rain. It would not hurt anything. As far as the plants themselves go, these look really healthy. I don't see any leaf diseases or any real issues there. There was a few holes in a couple of spots where some bugs have been eaten. I don't know if it was bean leaf beetle or if we got something else in here. But not enough to be concerned about or to worry about at all. So, yeah, I'm happy with our beans. They look good. Okay, the last stop on our little crop scouting tour here takes us to a wheat field. A wheat field that is getting close to being ready for harvest. It's also what the bucket is for. we're gonna pull some heads off of this wheat and take them back and get a grain sample out of it and see what the moisture is. Just looking at it, I don't think it's ready for harvest. I'm gonna guess our moisture is gonna be 20 to 25%. For storage, we need it to be 13%. We would probably start harvesting if it was 15 or 16% and run it through a dryer. Although with the weather we have right now, maybe we wouldn't, I don't know. But we'll see where we're at here. So one of the biggest ways that you can tell a wheat crop is getting ready or close to harvestable is, one, obviously the color of it. It's clearly maturing. There's still a few green stems out here, but not a lot. But you'll notice that some of these heads have started to kind of kink over. Instead of standing up straight like this one, they kind of start to bend over to the side and get that crook to them. That's a good sign that it's ready. And when they're all that way, then we'll probably be out here harvesting. But there's enough green left, like here, that those kernels are going to be wet yet. And I don't think we're dry enough to harvest by any means. So, but I'm going to go through and just kind of take my hand, pop some heads off, throw them in the bucket. When we get it full, we'll take it back to the shop and get a sample out of it. We're gonna call that close enough to full. I think it's enough. Okay, the best way that I have found to get the wheat kernels out of the wheat heads is a 5-gallon bucket paint stirrer and a drill. And just mix it up. This will take a little bit, but it beats them out of there eventually, and then we separate the chaff out. We're good in there. Go both directions. Mix it up a little bit. Now we take our air gun and gently blow air and try and get the chaff to come out. Kernels are heavier, so they generally stay in. So you don't want to blow air directly into it, because you will blow the kernels right out. And you got to shake it a little bit. This takes a little bit. Okay, well, for a hand sample, we didn't do too bad. We got, pile of chaff, but I think we're good here. So I'm going to take this and we're going to go set up our moisture tester and run a sample. All right, this is our moisture tester. It's a pretty fancy one. It does a pretty good job. We'll get it taken out to our grain shed and set up out there for harvest, but for right now I'm just using it here in the office because it's here. Okay, I've got it on and ready to run a sample. So the way this works is we're going to hit analyze. We're going to tell it is wheat. SRW stands for soft red winter. It'll ask for a sample ID, and then this button will turn green after we put some in there. So we'll take our bucket and pour it, which is harder with one hand than it should be. Okay. Whew. And now our button's green, so we push it. Push it. There it goes. Oh, gotta make sure this drawer is closed. And it will dump it. Level it off. And then we wait. And 17.1. Ooh, that's drier than I thought. 17.1. Wow. There was a fair amount of green in there. If you look at the sample, you can see like here, and there's quite a few green kernels that I really thought was going to make this test wetter. But what that means is the stuff that's dry is much drier than I thought. And we're closer than you would think. Yeah. I dumped it back in the bucket, mixed it up, and I'm going to run it through, probably do 3 samples, and we'll take an average and see what they come out at. 17.3. And what's the third one? 17.1 again. So that's 17.1, 17.2 average. That's drier than I thought. I was really anticipating 20% plus. So, what does that mean? Good question. From what I would say is it means that almost guaranteed Monday, if not before, we'll be running wheat. It may mean we go try it tomorrow because this stuff's going to keep drying as hot and sunny as it is. So 15 might be tomorrow afternoon. Okay, I'm going to go home for a little while. It's 5:30. Yeah, it's hot. Got up to 92 degrees today. So we gotta go move that Traveler at 7:30. So I'll be back. I'll take you guys up there again, and I'll probably go through the process again with you because I haven't shown it for a few days. Some of you probably haven't seen it. Yowza! I brought the old drizzle ditch. Yeah, back up here. Another load of fuel in the generator. It's not quite done yet. The gun is. Can you see it? Can you see it? That way. Right there. It's about done, but not quite. I was going to look at the timer here. See how much time we got left. Oh yeah, it's going to shut off any second. It just shut off. There you go. So we'll put our fuel in and we'll go get her moved. One other thing, pretty soon we're going to have to shut our generator down just so we can change the oil in it. We've put almost 190 hours on it since we started. I think there was about 50 hours on the oil when we started here, so it's pushing almost to 250. I'll let it go maybe to 300, but 250 is where it should be changed, so it'll probably get done Monday would be my guess. But yeah, it hasn't shut off since we started it up Monday morning, and I think I figured it was 108 hours as of right now. They add up quick when you run it 24 hours a day. I've had a couple of comments about the river and whether there was enough water to keep pumping or if it ever would run dry. This is pretty much standard flow. If it hasn't rained and we don't have a bunch of water coming down the river from a rainfall, this is what it is. It never really gets much lower than this. So there is quite obviously plenty of water. We are not making a dent. It's amazing how much water flows down this river. I had another broken bolt. I've had a couple of comments on that too, and I know I've talked about ways to fix that, about maybe welding the bracket here to hold this end of the bolt, but I think easier, quicker solution is going to be to drill this hole out. This is just a 1/4 inch bolt. It's got to be, heck, what is that? 6 inches long or something? It's just not big enough. So if I just drill that out and put a 5/16 or a 3/8 bolt in there, which should have plenty of room to get it through that eye bolt, and if not, I'll just remove the eye bolt or spread it apart a little bit. Then hopefully it won't break anymore, or at least not as much. I'm starting to get a collection of them broken in there. Now one more good one. I just remembered I told you I was going to tell you how all this works again. Forgot, and I'm already done, so sorry. I will do it at some point though. I mean, I've been through it, but we'll go through it again. It's not hard, it just takes a little bit of time. So anyway, I'm ready to pull it out. This run is a full pull again, finally. We had all them short runs over there with the woods and the ditch on the other end. Got a little water coming at me. So this is the first one where we've been far enough past the edge of the woods over there that I can pull the gun until it's all the way out and shoot past my end lane in the back there a little ways. So that's good. This is going to be a 10-hour run, so good. A whole overnight. I will say that I have gotten pretty good at timing these out or making them, doing them in the right order to get relatively long runs overnight, which is helpful. So, you know, some of them I've started sort of late, 11, midnight, something like that, but they were still 7 or 8 hour pulls, so they would get done in the morning. It's better than coming at 2, 4, 3, 5 in the morning. So this one here will get started about probably 8:15. Give it 10 hours. I'll probably give it an extra click on the timer, 8 hours or 10 hours and 15 minutes. That puts it at 6:30 in the morning, which tomorrow's Saturday, so I don't have to worry about getting my kids off to the babysitter, so I can come early and we'll get her moved. And the next one's going to be a relatively full pull too. We're going to pull back down our center lane there. I think it was 1,000 foot the first time we did that, so that'll be a long one too. I'll get a break tomorrow morning, afternoon. Those lights I put on that reel are awesome. Even in the bright daylight today, like right now, they help me know when to stop pulling it out. Because, I mean, yeah, I can see the hose, but is there 1 wrap or 2 wraps left on that reel from a quarter of a mile away? It's a little difficult to tell, so you do the best you can. And this way I know. When I can see my lights, it's time to stop. It's great. There's my light. It's a beautiful thing. 1,222 feet. Okay, back up and running. I'm gonna take my four-wheeler and fuel trailer home, put it in the barn. All right, well, okay. Pretty good week here on the farm, really. We watered a lot of corn. We're making a huge difference up there. It's very evident what's gotten water and what hasn't. And it's evident what's hit it the second time and what needs to be done yet. But that's okay. It is what it is. I wish we would get some rain for everything else, but there's not a whole lot I can do about that. We'll take care of what we can take care of, and is what it is. So we did get our stuff ready for wheat harvest though. Combine, bean head are ready to go. We've got the grain cart. Can you see it? Yeah, there it is. Got the grain cart home, so that's ready to go. So yeah, good stuff. I'm going home. That's it for tonight. This thing will be done at 6:30 in the morning tomorrow. I'm not planning on really working all day, but I'll be around some. I don't know. I may make a video. I may not. I probably won't, but I might. So we'll see. If we get into wheat this weekend, I'll definitely film that for you. So we'll see. But have a great weekend, everybody. Oh, happy 4th of July. I mean, hey, go have a party. Shoot some fireworks off. Do something. So, yep. And Scott, again, be safe. Keep the bird in the air. And we'll see you next year. It's gonna be a tough year. Comment down below, like, subscribe, let me any questions. See you guys.